We humans. We hate change, resent creativity, don't trust human nature, and, to a surprising degree, can't even trust ourselves. Yet, despite it all, we continue to demand innovation. This current age of disruption resembles some kind of quickening, a final push toward another life-changing stage of social evolution. The next really big thing is coming, no doubt about it. Question is, who will create the version that works? Instead of some big corporation, this time it could be us, the people, who bring to society the greatest innovation seen in over 20 years. What then is it going to take for us to embrace the future of social networking, since this is where an ocean of innovation is still to be discovered? For some, this may sound ridiculous, like social networking is a fad we are all getting tired of and is on its way out, right? But if that really is the case, then why would Microsoft buy LinkedIn for $26.2 billion? If we are to be the ones who build the next big thing, the version that works, we need to get over our current collective fear of change, decide an agreeable view toward human nature so that we can start trusting ourselves and each other and get to work. Change. Yeah, we hate it. All there is to it. No matter who you are, even if you call yourself progressive, you, me, we all hate change. And if you have somehow completely reimagined your life so that you don't hate change, well, now imagine how annoying it would be to have all that change. That's right, you're a hater. Don't worry, it's probably a survival instinct. Maybe you're just a disliker. Well, turns out there's solid reasoning behind even a slight dislike for change. In her article here with the Harvard Business Review, Rosabeth Moss-Cantor has listed 10 common reasons we resist change so that leaders of change can, quote, understand the predictable universal sources of resistance in each situation and then strategize around them. She points out the following. We don't like the idea of losing control. We don't like uncertainty, and we don't like decisions being imposed upon us. Too many differences can be distracting or confusing. We don't want to lose face. If we're associated with the old version of how things worked, we get defensive. Change always seems like more work, even if the change will soon save time. Sometimes the threat is real. Jobs and earnings could be lost. However, resisting change doesn't always work in our favor, especially when we demand innovation. Yes, innovation is change. Innovation also brings us new products, helps to reduce waste, increases productivity, creates wealth and influence. Innovation is the next step. It's the future, and it's change. We are always on the brink of something. On the brink. Innovation is change, which requires creativity. And guess what? We actually resent creativity too, since it is the source of change. In Eric Jaffe's article here, he references the story of Gary Starkweather, an engineer with a bachelor's in physics and a master's in optics, who had to beg Xerox, the company he worked for, to support his idea of a laser printer when they should have been begging him. Brene Brown is quoted here as saying, "There is no innovation and creativity without failure, period." Of course, Xerox was and remains aware of this. Maybe those with less to lose are willing to fail in ways others with the keys and the wallets can't afford to, since they are paid to fail less. And hey, if this problem has always been obvious, then why haven't we come up with a decent workaround? Both parties describe desire success, so we must be able to build a bridge here. Anyway, sure, later, after a creative endeavor is accepted by a sizable group of people, we will accept, honor, even cherish it. But at first, creativity pushes us out of our psychological comfort zone. Most of us don't like that. Think creative haircut. Isn't creativity just part of human nature? What is human nature? And why can't we have an easier time trusting it? We don't have to get too deep into what human nature is. Philosophical foundations for the understanding of human nature have been set, though mostly by men. Think something's probably missing then? Yes, Rand's virtue of selfishness can be elegant, but still there's something missing. Intuitively, I want to try to mash up Rand's ideas about human nature with those of Rousseau's concerning social contract in some way that would be productive, but that sounds exhausting. Real questions remain, like when and how can we have an easier time trusting human nature? Seems we need to be coming up with some kind of better ideas on how to view human nature, and soon, so we can get beyond the post-information age and really start doing things. I mean, doing things. But how do we determine steps to be taken when we can't even trust ourselves? In this article linked below by Mark Manson, found on his butt-kicking blog, markmanson.net, Mark points out 8 fascinating and well-researched reasons we can't trust ourselves. We hate change, resent creativity, can't trust human nature, can't even trust ourselves, and yet as a society demand and even require the highest levels of innovation. We can develop a system using what we have right here in front of us to better utilize all of our resources, including, most importantly, the resource that is human capital, which continues to be misallocated and misused. Yes, human capital is a thing. When I first heard the term, I will admit thoughts came to me from some negative corners of my mind, but the term is used to describe the skills, knowledge, and experience possessed by an individual or population viewed in terms of their value or cost to an organization or country. Human capital is just one of the many misused resources continually overlooked, which could be more properly honored with concerted innovation to online social networking. I hope you check out the articles I've linked below. I have parts of the what, some of the why, and an extremely rough outline of a how, all of which are addressed in other videos, and I will always need help with the who.